Yo, what's up, boys, man? We back with another video, man. And it's been a week since the tragic losses of Ilya Tapura and Alex Pereira, man. It took me a week to cope and come to the understanding that they lost. So yeah, that's why I didn't post for a week. Nah, the real answer, I was just out of town, and I'm back now. I'm back now. And what a better way to come back and talk about more depressing news. It's not recent news, it's been new, but after the losses, might as well talk to more losses, and also because I seen like an Instagram post about the person we're gonna speak today. So today, man, we finna talk about the Derrick Rose of MMA, Shavkat, Rakhmonov. Um, bro, I feel people really are forgetting Shavkat Rakhmonov, man. It is crazy to believe that literally just about like 2 years ago, this guy was fighting for the world championship against Bilal. If only Bilal didn't get injured, he maybe would have been champion. But career wise, probably would have been the same because he was still coming in. That fight would have torn ACL and other ligaments in his fucking knee. So yeah, man. Shaka Ragmanov, man, what a tragic downfall, man. I seen like this video on Instagram of him like in rehab, working on his knees, his balance and stuff like that, man. And bro, like something about looking at his knees, man, like there has been a lot of damage there, man. And it's just so sad to see, man, how this guy at one point was this close to being a champion. If it wasn't for Bilal breaking his toe, he would have been champion. But health wise, he probably still would have been in the same situation. But yeah, the come up, man. So yeah, man, if y'all didn't know, he started in 2020. He came in the UFC in 2020. Fought in the prelims of that Khabib and Justin Gaethje. Fuck the card. Justin Gaethje, man, against Alex Oliveira. Got a first round finish. I'm not gonna bullshit here and say that I saw this and I was a Shavkat fan. Since then, I wasn't watching the UFC. I started watching after McGregor Poirier 2. That's when I heard about the I think all my life I've been knew about the UFC. Like it's like those things like that about, but you never really pay attention to. But after that McGregor Poirier second fight rematch, that's when I started paying attention. And then slowly the ball kept rolling, and then now I'm here. So yeah, I'm not gonna bullshit and say like, oh yeah, I was a big fan since his debut. But yeah, but no, what made me a fan was this, man. This spinning wheel kick against Carson Harris and the Hermanson Strickland fight night card, man. You know, this is when I started, starting to, watch most of the cards. I try to, if I had time, I would try to, catch, come in and be as early as possible to see the prelims and stuff like that. Cause I used to be a boxing fan, and you know how boxing cards are. Like no one really paid attention to the main, like the bottom card stuff like that. And like people, it's just a bunch of nobodies. And I thought it was pretty much the same here in the UFC. But then I seen like these other like cool ass fighters, man, on the undercards, and like yo, this is different. Like there's actually some good prospects and like cool fighters under here that are not even close to the main card. And this is where I seen him, man. Shaka, this is where I had tabs on him. I put a tab on him. I was like, yo, man, he's someone to watch, man. Man. Yeah, that spinning wheel kick, man. Flush right here, bro. Knocked him down and then finished with some ground and pound, bro. Bro, I was blown away, man. I was blown away. This guy, he was special. I felt something about him. And then, eventually, he got to the rank gatekeepers, the X-rank gatekeepers, Neil Magny and Jeff Neal. Uh, Neil Magny, I don't think I've seen this one live. I think I just seen it like in a post. So I'm not gonna bullshit and say I watched this fight as well. But yeah, he got that, But I remember seeing it. He did get this buzzer beater. I don't know why I put Comey in there, but yeah, he did get a buzzer beater guillotine choke here against Neil Magny, who were back in the day, man. These were like the people that if you want to get in the ranked, in if you were a welterweight fighter and you wanted to get ranked, these were the people that you were supposed to get through to be considered. Oh yeah, okay. If he got past both of these people, he's next level. He's ready for the next level, man. And he did it. Neil Magny was pretty easy, and then this is where I think everybody. This is where he got mainstream. 285 under that Jones Gone card. and I think he opened up the main card, if I'm not mistaken. He opened the main card and put on an entertaining fight. It was a fun little scrap, but Shavkat got the iconic I think bulldog choke, or just fucking just whatever. I mean, it's a rear naked choke, but I know it's a specific name. Standing choke, whatever you can say that. Standing choke. He got the iconic standing choke in that third round. Man, look at this, man. This shit is like aura, man. Like you can see the aura right there, man. You can see the aura of Shavkat Rakhmonov, man. This guy, this is where he went mainstream, man. This is when everybody started talking about him, Back, before this, he was like here and there, you hear whispers, but now everybody knows the name, man. Everybody knows the name, and people saying like, hey, man, he's a future champ. He's a future champ. He's up next. He's up next. Give him a good contender. And then we move on to the early signs of that leg injuries, you could say. So he beat Stephen Thompson, but I do remember watching this. Something about his performance here wasn't to his standard. He was very hesitant, didn't throw a lot of strikes, but still got the finish. Still kept the 100% finishing rate. But Stephen Thompson is washed at this point. I mean, he's still a tricky fighter with his karate stance. He's still tricky to strike, and try to get a hold of them. But I thought Shavkat was already leagues above Stephen Thompson at this point, especially Stephen Thompson now. He was already been washed here. And he did struggle a little bit, but still got the finish. And then, come to find out, this guy had a very bad torn ligament in his ankles. And this is where I think it stems from his knee problems, man. I think this fight is where it all started. It wasn't fucking Ian Gary that cooked this. I mean, Ian Gary did fuel the fire also with those kicks, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, this is where I feel this is where, that bad luck of injuries start to come right here, man. The ligaments, the ankle, man. When you hurt that ankle, bro, it really, cause from experience from me, when I hurt my ankles, bro, ever since I hurt my ankles like a couple years ago, like I feel how I move, like any sport, like how I move I've never recovered ever since I've hurt my ankles, man. And like the way I land, the move, the biomechanicals of my movement and stuff like that never like went back to the same how it used to be. And I feel this is where his thing as well, man. He dealt with a pretty bad ankle injury, and I feel his biomechanics never was the same, and he felt different. He didn't feel like he used to. And then this is where we come here, man. Is this the end? So, like I said, this was supposed to be when he was supposed to fight Belal Muhammad for the title. December 7th, 2024. Almost 2 years ago. Crazy, man. Almost 2 years ago. Time flies like this, man. Real fast, bro. UFC 310. He was the co-main. I think this was the Sakura Pantoja card. This was the end of the year. I think it was this. I think it was that card where the headline. But yeah, man, this is where it all started, man. This whole performance did not feel Shavkat standard as well, man. More worse, very hesitant, but was, still setting his base. He was still there getting the better of the end of the striking, the grappling, beat him, but Ian Gary made it pretty close, made it close, Shavkat had to really lock in those final rounds and try to put this to bed. And right here with this picture you see is where Ian Gary famously threw that oblique kick to his left knee. And coming into this fight, it was found out that Shavkat was coming with a torn ACL, MCL, and other knee problems. Like, he tore that shit off the bone. And, these oblique kicks are not helping that, making it worse. And, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy that how at one point this guy was so close to being the top of the world, man. Was literally right there. But unfortunate knee problems, which my theory is, it really started from those ankle problems, man. I think, he probably let it heal. But ever since, those ankle problems, when he hurt his ankles, I don't think he really was the same fighter since those ankle problems, man. As you see right here, I did ask you, Gemini, and I asked the question, can significant ankle injuries have a significant downfall with like knee problems and stuff like that. And it says right here, yes, torn ankle ligaments can significantly increase the risk of a future ACL injury. So that kind of did put my theory, gives up more base to my theory that ever since those ankle injuries, he was really never the same, man. And you see the rest right there. Like I said, I don't think he ever fully like the movement ever came back how he used to be. You know, he was now he was more hesitant with the striking. Those last two fights, didn't throw a lot, didn't do too much, but still got the job done. Is it's really sad, man. And now let's talk about, let's say if he comes back, man. Let's say if he comes back, man. So this is when Shavkat was in the top 5, and this is where the welterweight rankings were in 2024. So you see names like Sean Brady, Michael Morales, Ian Gary, JDM, Carlos Prates. You see those names right there, man. And nowadays, when we look at the rankings now, completely different. Once they were once coming up prospects as well. Now they're in the top 5 now. And all the old heads like Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards. I mean, Hakeem Buckley, he's not old, but he still kind of fell off. Usman, Kobe's gone. Jeff Neal, man. Vicente Luque, man. These people, they're, some of them are not even here, and then some of them are in the lower ranks, man. See, is this sport, like, you can't take time off in this sport, man, because this sport passes by quick, man. You see how fast, all these amazing fighters were in the lower ranks, and now modern day, look at this right now. They're all in the top 5. Ian Gary, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, JDM. We got some new names, Gabriel Bonfim. And we have other, like, right here, man, Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad still sort of there, Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley all fell off a little bit. And then, there's some, people in the lower ranks that are there as well. But if he were to come back, man, it's going to be a hard road, because now welterweight is not the same, man. This welterweight, you could say, for, when Shaka was in the top 4, I could say he probably would have beat all the 3 contenders above him. But now, it looks pretty difficult now, man. You got something like Sean Brady, amazing grappling. Gabriel Bonfim, the striking is there, but the grappling is a bit iffy. But you look what he did to Bilal Muhammad, man. Look what he did to him. I mean, Bilal Muhammad didn't really use his grappling, so that's another reason why. But I think I would expect Shavkat to use his grappling. JDM beat Bilal Muhammad, stuffed the takedowns, has amazing striking. But recently is not having the best run. Michael Morales, a freak of nature. He looks like a whole ass light heavyweight, man. He might be too physical for Shavkat, man. Too much physicality. This is where the body, his base is more stronger, man. Long ass arms, long ass legs, man. Carlos Prates, one of the best strikers in the world, has to touch of death in both of his hands, man. But the grappling is there to be taken advantage of. Ian Machado Gary, probably one of the most complete fighters in the welterweight division right now, man. Has very good counter striking, very quick, man. The grappling is there, the jiu-jitsu is there, man. And obviously Islam, man. Islam is there, man. Top, the GOAT. I have Islam over. If Islam beats Ian Gary, I did see they get announced. If he beats Ian Gary, I feel he's undisputed the GOAT, no doubt. What Islam has done in his career has certainly surpassed what John Jones has done in his career. Like he is the official GOAT. Islam, if he beats Ian Gary, is the official GOAT. But yeah, man, if he were to come back, if Shaka were to come back, he's gonna go through hell's road, man. Because we still haven't seen how he can stand with Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards. Usman's pretty old and he's fighting Dricus later this year. Joaquin Buckley could be a pretty bad matchup, especially now. After re-injuring his knee twice. He had to take out 2025 all that year, whatever. He was expected to come back this year, but then like in January, like end of January going into February, it was news that he unfortunately re-injured his knee again, and that's gonna keep him sidelined for most of the year, 9 months to 12, man. So this is gonna be another year where he is going to be out, man. And this guy, and Shaka, I think is like 31, 32. He's like pushing 32, I think, right? And he should be, if he was active, he should be in his prime. He should be in his prime right now. But his last 2 years where he should be in his prime have been wasted because of injuries, man. And the thing I'm worried about is after 2 years, how would Shavkat handle in the modern day welterweight division, man? This guy has been off. This guy hasn't been training probably at all. He's been focusing on rehabbing his knees and stuff like that, man. Focusing on that. Probably has training like far away. He probably has a long way to go before he starts hitting the mats, throwing some knees, some leg kicks, some hands. Focus on the grappling. And who knows who's gonna be in the top 15 in 2027, man. This welterweight division is looking pretty stacked nowadays, but there is still a lot of dangerous welterweight contenders down ranked that are coming up as well. Who I think, if they are pretty good, they could provide some very, a lot of bad matchups for Shaka, man. And it's just sad to see how, I know I said this multiple times, but man, it's just so sad, man. This guy, he could have been champion, man. And man, imagine Islam versus Shaka, man. That would have been a banger, bro. Cause I feel Shaka would have. I think Shaka could have beat Islam now. But nowadays, how is he gonna move? The confidence. This is where mental. This is where you have to face a mental battle. At this, I know. We'll get to that Eastman article later, but I know he says he's still in a good headspace. He still has the goals. He still wants to reach the championship. But you could say that, but your body might not be the same how it used to be, man. But yeah, man, it's sad to see. And the question here is, can a generational comeback be made here, man? Can Shavkat make a comeback and just have a fairy tale ending, man? 1 point at the top, injuries held him back. Had to pick him up. Had to pick up himself. Rehab, start from the bottom, and eventually get to the top, man. In my opinion, after seeing, there has been many fighters who have dealt with knee injuries, and some, knee injuries, man, that's 50-50, man. Knee injuries, like ACL type injuries, that is 50-50, man. It could literally cook someone's career like that, or it could fuel them, and they come back stronger than ever, man. In my opinion, I really like, the way, he's been feeling. He's been motivated. He still has the goals. He still has the championship in mind. I feel a comeback is possible, but being a champion, I don't know. But I think he can at least minimum be a solid ranked fighter in the welterweight division, man. But being a champion, I don't know, man. We have to see how he comes back, if he returns to form, or if he is a different fighter, and maybe he might adopt a different fight style. Maybe he might adopt a more wrestling heavy fight style, man. Who knows, man? So yeah, man. Let's look at the ESPN article real quick. All right, so I got it right here. So it says here, January 31st, 2026. Shavkat Rakhmonov injures his knee again, will miss 9 months. So it says right here, UFC welterweight contender Shavkat Rakhmonov, who missed all of 2025 because of injuries to his knee, is expected to miss most of 2026 after injuring the knee again. His manager Daniel Rubenstein said Saturday Rakhmonov recently underwent surgery on the knee and is expected to miss 9 months. Rubenstein said. He said he has not fought since December 2024, that Ian Gary matchup when he defeated Ian Gary. Yep. The unanimous decision. And then I think this is where Shaka quotes. He says, "It is not easy to accept, but I truly believe every setback is a part of a bigger plan." Inspirational words. I will come back stronger, smarter, and hungrier than ever. My goal is still alive. The UFC belt still has to come to Kazakhstan, man. If you're a fan of Shavkat, this is what you want to hear after the setbacks he had, the injuries he had, like I said for the millionth time. This is what you want to hear from the fighter, man. That he still has high spirits. He's still in high spirits. He still has the goal in mind, being a UFC champion, man. And let me go back to my little presentation here, man. I'm gonna edit this out. Oh my god, man. Yeah, I gotta virus, whatever, man. But yeah, man. So can he make a comeback? You know, uh, I think he could be like, I think he could be a solid rank contender if he comes back. But champion, then we gotta have to see how he comes back, man. He might adopt a different fight style. You know, he might be slower. Maybe he might be more hesitant on the feet. You know, and also the fighters, man. The fighters aren't. They had that in mind that he has knee problems. They might attack the knees more often now. Might throw more oblique kicks, and who knows? Maybe even those oblique kicks can affect his movement more and re-injure that knee again. So yeah, man. That's all I got for today, man. Shaka, if you're watching this, probably not. Hey, man, I believe you, man. I was a big fan when you were coming up. I always believed that you could have been champion. But now, this is where the mental battle. You gotta have a mental battle with yourself. You have to have belief. You have to have faith. You have to have hope. You know, all the shit's going in your mind. If this is for me, man. If the risks are there. Am I ever going to be walk again? Stuff like that. But yeah, I think Shafa can make a comeback. But like I said, champion, we had to see. But yeah, man, that's all I got for today, man. I'm back. More content later this week. But yeah, man, that's all I got for today. Comment. Do you think Shafa can make a comeback, or is this where he probably gets retired, or is he gonna just be injury prone for the rest of his career and not be the fighter he used to be, man? But yeah, man, that's all I got for today. Like, subscribe to the video, comment what you think, your opinion, stuff like that. I'll see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a nice day. Peace.